Welcome to Sacred Magic. Violet is on a quest to bring sacredness back into our everyday experiences. Anyone can have an extraordinary life when they are able to tap into their sacred magic within. Violet and her guests will be sharing their divine passions, inspirations, and stories of connecting with their sacred magic. We are so happy you have joined us today. Let's get started with your host, the magical creator of Discover Your Spiritual Gifts, Vialet Rayne.
Hi, welcome to Sacred Magic Podcast. I'm your host, Vialet Rayne. I'm so happy you're here. And my guest or my conversationalist today is Nikki Milton, which is my daughter and also my marketing manager at Discover Your Spiritual Gifts. We like to come on here. We try to do these once a month when we can and just have a discussion on what's going on or what the month is about. And we banter back and forth, and for some reason people like that. I don't know why.
I think it's just people who know us that like that. But hey, welcome anyone who doesn't. Maybe we'll
Hey,
be your cup of tea.
This podcast will be released in the month of May, and for us, the month of May is spring, inspiration, getting inspired, planting seeds of intention. Those are kind of the things that we look for in the month of May.
Also getting motivated to water those seeds, nurture those seeds, make them become little plants.
Yeah, all those things. And then we also love we do a lot of fairy play shops, and May is our month to do fairy play shops, and that's where we're learning to play and plant seeds and connect with our inner child. Spring is my favorite time of the year. It is my ultimate favorite time of the year. Today, it's snowing outside, which is my least favorite time of the year. I love the springtime because I love being able to open the windows and let my allergies get worse. I also like driving with my windows down in my car.
You do realize you live in Colorado, right? So springtime is snow.
Yeah, I'm pushing that out of my mind.
We get the most snow in the spring. Like it can snow anywhere from, for those of you who aren't in Colorado, it can snow anywhere from September into June. I've seen it snow in June before, but spring's when we get our wettest, heaviest snow that lingers a little bit longer.
That could be why I told you when I came back here in 2011, I wasn't staying long because I don't like the snow, but I am still here in Colorado. There are lots of other things that I love about Colorado. The weather.
But the good thing about Colorado snow is it melts pretty quickly. We are known for having 300 plus days of sunshine a year. So while we do have quite a bit of snow for quite an extended period of time, and our springs and autumns tend to be shortened, the snow doesn't linger very long. It's not like we're in the north or the northeast where it's just snow on the ground all winter long.
There's truth in that statement. However, I can't wear my flip-flops always in the snow. I do try to wear my flip-flops. And I would love to have the ocean and beach. Those are kind of missing here too. But I won't stay on that topic. That just makes me sad.
It's a sore topic for Vialet. The springtime is so snowy and cold.
I will take the warmth and heat every day. But anyways, this is where spirit has put me, and they've told me this is where I was supposed to be. So I am honoring where they tell me to go. Sometimes you just have to surrender, and this is definitely a surrender space because I stopped fighting it. I fought it for years, and they're like, nope, this is where you're going to be. And I'm like, okay, I surrender. Sometimes we have to surrender, but May is about that inspiration. How do we get inspired? How do we start planting our seeds? And when
why don't you tell them a little bit about what planting seeds in springtime means metaphysically and spiritually?
Oh, that's a good question. Good job, Nikki. Whether you realize it or not, you're planting seeds all the time. You plant seeds with the thoughts that you have, with what you're saying to yourself, what you're telling other people, where you're setting your intentions or your focus. Those are all planting seeds. when we tell people you create your own reality and they go, I would have never created this. I get that feeling of that would be crazy for me to create this life that I've created for myself. But what are you thinking? What are you saying? What are you telling people? And a lot of it is about real awareness. Most of the time, most individuals are on autopilot, meaning they're not consciously aware of what's going on in their day. And a great example of that, and I love using this, is when was the last time you drove home from work and you got home and you walked in the door and you're like, I don't remember the last 5 miles. Well, how did you get from there to here? You're conscious, took over, it knows the way home, it knows how to drive there, it takes the wheel. And for a lot of people, they're doing that the majority of the time because they're out thinking about their grocery list or daydreaming about their vacation, or instead of consciously being aware of what's going on. And whatever you're thinking, whatever you're telling people, you're creating. So a lot of times, at least in our center, we try to help people be very aware, because it's really easy to say, I don't have time, I don't have this, I can't commit to that. And you're creating that. You're telling the universe, okay, I don't want that. So planting seeds and being very consciously aware and very intentional is about making sure that what you're saying in your mind and what you feel in your heart is in full alignment to what you want to bring in. And a lot of that, as crazy as it is about saying that you already have it now. And so people are like, so you want me to fake it till I make it? Yes, I do. I want you to fake it till you make it and tell yourself the world is wonderful, even when everything's crashing down around you, that it is wonderful. Things are really great. And a great example of that was last night when I was driving home. For those that don't know, my husband's gone through this sliding thing of health issues for the last few months, just trying to keep him on track. And he's like, my world is perfect. There's nothing wrong with my world. And I'm thinking, oh, it's been a rough 6 months. That's the perfect world. What is the imperfect? However, for a person that's a rocket scientist and he doesn't believe in any of this, he has a little bit of a foundation of belief. And he's like, my world is great. My world's wonderful. There is something
working that law of attraction, although we'd never admit it.
Yeah, he'd never believe that. No. But there is truth in that our attitude, our positive attitude, our belief and joy. And I get it. You probably know somebody in your life that's always peppy and up and everything's wonderful. And sometimes you look at them and go, is that a mask? Is that reality? Are they trying to convince themselves of that? We all kind of.
Toxic positivity is a thing, but I really think of that more in the reins of, like, if you're in a period of grief, allow yourself to feel those feelings.
Right.
Allow yourself to be in that period of grief, right? But or sadness, or whatever it is you're dealing with. If you're struggling with depression, like, trying to mask over that and pretend like it's not real is not helpful, right? And is not healing. However, if there is a version of you, an aspirational version of you that you want to be, and you're not quite there yet, that's the perfect opportunity to utilize some of that law of attraction, belief. Like, as our minds are powerful things, belief is a common theme in most storytelling, because it's such a powerful thing. You can't see it if you don't believe it's true, right? You can't achieve it if you don't believe you're capable of it, right? So there's a little of mind over matter thing going on. But know that doesn't mean if you are suffering right now that you just pretend like that's not happening. You have to do that healing work, which means you have to feel those feelings and process and get the support that you need, whatever that looks like as well. So
I'm really good at feeling the feels.
yeah,
I'm a water
totally fountain.
I'm a water fountain. I can feel the feels. Because it's not healthy if we don't release it when we're angry, frustrated, any of that. You got to have an outlet, a healthy outlet to get that out. And healthy is the key word. What you don't want to do is take it out on your children or your spouse. And sometimes we do, not thinking about it. I'm fine. When your spouse is like, ooh,
That sounds like the
okay,
furthest from fine, but I'm going to go over here and do something else.
I'm going
But
this way.
But as you tell people all the time, like the healing work is never done. Just when you feel like you've healed something, there's always more to heal, and you'll cycle back around to that thing you feel like you healed later, and there'll be an added depth to it and more, the need for healing just continues throughout your whole life.
And it's important, right? And I think the biggest important keys in having a better life is awareness. You got to be aware of what's going on, how you get triggered, what's coming up for you, because awareness allows us to shift some of those behaviors,
Yucky shadow work
personalities,
stuff.
attitudes, all that stuff kind of helps us. And awareness is key, but also living a life very conscious of what's going on, because I would say the majority of non-spiritual people are not living consciously. They're kind of in that autopilot. They're just going through the same old day every day. And when you want to evolve spiritually or be on a spiritual path, it's about being consciously aware. And if you're planting negative seeds in your life, my life is horrible, I am terrible, I'm not smart enough. All of those are words that are planting seeds of intention, because the universe doesn't filter, doesn't judge. They're not going to say, well, Violet really doesn't want that, so we're not going to create that for her. They're like, Violet said that, so she must want it. So let's put that seed in place. So, I tell people be very aware. And so if you catch yourself saying something that's negative, or you're in this negative cycle, breaking those patterns are about erase, 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 delete, delete, delete that thought. And I am, and do something positive right over it with a positive intention. But in the springtime, we're given that opportunity to really consciously plant seeds for a year. Because if you think about it, the gardeners, right, the agriculture, they're planting seeds to harvest. Before we had concrete and big buildings, we lived on the land, we lived by the cycles of the planet. And spring was a time that families went out and they planted their seeds so that they could harvest them in early fall, so that they would have enough food for the winter. And this is the same thing. What seeds do you want to plant? What's in your life that you want to create? Maybe attract in, maybe try something new. What is it that you want to change about your life? What do you love about your life? What do you wish that was different in your life? This is a great time of the year to kind of plant those seeds. And what's cool is in May, I have a ritual ceremony where we talk about planting seeds. How do we set our intention? And a physical way to plant seeds is literally to take a pot and plant a seed in it, or plant a plant in it and say, okay, I want good health. And my intention right now is I'm planting seeds for health, but I'm going to do it in a physical way. I'm going to plant this plant and I'm going to say, I want good health. So I'm planting this so that it can grow, right? And grow in your house or outside. I'm planting this seed, and it's about being very intentional and ritualistic within ceremony of this is what I'm doing. Because believe it or not, before we had concrete and buildings and we lived off the land, they did ceremony. They did plant seeds for the season. They did celebrate the planting of the seeds and setting their intentions on what they wanted for their families and bringing in. And we've really gotten away from that. We're just doing our to-do list and going from day to day, working on our stuff. And we've left that ceremony ritual type of thing of celebration, because they did that in the spring. They celebrated that the trees were blooming and budding. They celebrated that plants were coming back up. They celebrated the warm weather coming in, and things getting green again. And especially in Colorado, we don't get enough green. So when it gets green, we're like, ooh,
Yeah,
green.
well, so as modern humans, right? We still have echoes of those earlier ancestral celebrations. We call them holidays. And if you look back at most of our holidays, there is some ancestral seed there, right? Christmas was once Yule, right? Easter was once spring equinox celebrations. Halloween was, had its own thing, Samhain and All Hallows Eve. Like if you dig down enough, Beltane for sure was very much celebrated across a wide breadth of Europe in the springtime to celebrate this season and the planting of the seeds and fertility rites and blessings and all that was definitely something. But as modern humans, we've hallmarked it up a little bit. There's a lot of commercialism or a lot of modern day religion tied to it. And we've forgotten the roots of those celebrations. So as modern humans, we may plant seeds, intentions, right? Might call them goals on New Year's, and then wonder why they don't follow throughout the year, right? So I've really I should say, rediscovered, since ancestrally this is what we used to do, rediscovered a love. I've always loved traditions and holidays, right? But I've rediscovered a love of these seasonal cyclical changes and being intentional with each change. I love the idea that in the winter we're hibernating, we're resting, we're gestating, formulating ideas, healing, working through our stuff, sort of withdrawing a little bit. It's cold outside. We want to be cozy. We want to be inside. Maybe we're not extroverting as much. We're doing that work. And then when the weather comes out, theoretically, because Colorado in springtime, then we're out there like starting to get motivated, using that inspiration that we've been working on to start putting plans in place for, the harvest we want to sow or reap later in the year. So I really embraced and enjoy it helps me be more intentional and focused on the things that I want to manifest or create in my life all year long, instead of going, hey, in January, I'd like to do this year. And then by March, I've moved on, right? Either that goal is no longer applicable or it fell off the wagon. And here it's like, well, I'm just deciding I'm visioning what I want my year to be in the winter so that in springtime I can start taking action and moving towards making those things real. And in summer, going full force on creating things, and fall, like what do I need to do to get through the finish line, so at the end of the year I'm back into, okay, I accomplished the things I wanted to accomplish this year, at least some of them. What do I want to carry on into the new year, and what do I want to create anew? And I just like celebrating the different seasons, whether it's the wheel of the year holidays or just the changing of the guard, and being a little more intentional and focused on my life and my life rituals all year long, instead of setting it and forgetting it in January.
I love that. And so, as we move through seasons, the solstices, right, the equinoxes, all those different things, these are great opportunities to set an altar or change your altar for this season, to light a candle, to be intentional and consciously aware of that season and how it can support you and bringing in new things to your life. And because this is the inspiration in spring, it's a great time to set your altar and plant seeds. We're
Or
also
take classes, spring is a great time to take classes because you're starting to plant and you're starting to work towards those goals. What do you need to get, or gather resources or find a mentor? Or that's all great springtime energy stuff for things that you want to accomplish this year.
absolutely, because it brings in some new things, new thoughts, new perspectives. Another thing that I would say is also great for inspiration in the month of May is being creative. And so, going and taking a painting class or a pottery class or getting out a canvas and painting or a craft. Now, Nikki's not the craft person. All
No, but it's
right.
a great time to try something new, and that could be a
Yeah.
lot of things. What
Yeah.
is it, something that's
Cooking.
on your list that you've been wanting to try? Now's a great time to feel inspired and take action.
Yeah, new recipe, new restaurant to try, new group to hang out with,
April
Um,
was independent bookstore month, and my husband and I get one day off a week, and we spent my days off in April going around to all the independent bookstores I hadn't got a chance to visit here in Denver. And they had like a little passport thing with a prize. I have no idea what the prize is, guys, but it was motivating me to go out and check out these stores that I really wanted to see anyway, but hadn't given myself time to do. So that was me like trying something new. And now I have all these great bookstores to recommend or not recommend, that I wouldn't have gone to. And we tried, because we were in new areas of town, we were trying new places to eat that had gluten-free options for my husband, found some cool new places. So, that's great, like springtime energy stuff to do.
yeah, I love that. Getting out, doing something outside, or, going to a new area and checking it out. All that stuff's new. So this month, find some ways to get inspired. What inspires you? What new things do you want to try? Be curious, right? Adventurous. Get out there and join a new group, meet new people, take a class that you've been considering. Just get out in a new part of town and look at it. Get out your canvas and paint or get crafty. These are all great things for this. And as you do each of those things, be consciously aware of what you're doing. Because here I'm out starting new things. I'm doing something creative for myself, and celebrate those new opportunities, those new experiences, those new memories that you're making, and get inspired this month in May. Have a lot of fun, and set up a ceremony or a new altar, and create a ritual that is perfect for you. So have
And you
some
never
fun.
know where those seeds that you're planting now will lead you.
Absolutely. You might find new friendships, new connections, new things along the way. So get out, have some fun this month. Thank you for watching our podcast today. I really love it when you join us. Like, comment, and follow us on your favorite channel. Stay connected with us because we do podcasts every week. We release a new one. And so we would love to see you here. So have a sacred, magical week, and thanks for taking the time today.